Yo, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Cole Harkin here, and today I'm hanging out in my sunroom, just kind of hanging out, looking out the lake, and I'm wishing that I was fishing, to be honest with you guys. It's been tough the last few days. Here in Central Arkansas, we've had this really big, massive cold front come through. I know it's the same story that every one of you guys are experiencing wherever you're at in the country, these massive cold fronts that are just messing up fishing time. Okay, it was like 50 degrees a couple days ago, and now we're sitting at like high 20s, low 30s, and heavy winds, and the fishes aren't biting. So instead of going out and just trying to just like work myself to death and try to scrap out, you know, a limited fish, I decided to just hang out in the house today and do a little bit of tackle organization, just hang out and see, just take an inventory of what I have. And what I realized is that I have a ton of crankbaits. Like, I know I have a ton of crankbaits, but I just realized I have a ton. I have boxes and boxes of crankbaits, and I love that. But on top of that, I have kind of like, I've noticed a trend that most of my crankbaits belong to a particular company, and I'm super proud every time I'm tying these crankbaits on and throwing them out there. So I figured that today that I do something different today on the channel and just show you guys one of my favorite crankbait boxes. This tackle box is full to the top, like busting out the sides with 6 cents crankbaits. All sorts of hard baits. There's some of the Lipless crankbaits, some Jerkbaits, and some topwater baits. And you know, if you've never heard of 6 cents hard baits, it's probably because they're kind of a relatively new company. They haven't been on the scene for all too long. I think it's maybe been 4 years, 5 years since they've kind of been into mass production. But they're starting to appear more in your local tackle stores, and even like at your academies. They have quite a few 6 cents hard baits to select. And I got a bunch of them, so I figured that I would just go through here, go through them, tell you guys why I like them, which models of crankbaits I have, what colors I have, why I'm throwing them, you know, where I'm throwing them, and just all that kind of stuff, you know. I figured you guys would enjoy a little bit of a crankbait review. Okay, so 6 cents baits originated out of Houston, Texas, I believe. And one of the first baits that they had out was a square bill crankbait. And I think that's what the original plan was for the company, is to be like the first company to come out with a square bill crankbait, like even before the Strike King 1.5s came out. As that was a really big deal. When Strike King 1.5s came out, it like changed the whole game in bass fishing. It was a big shakeup in the fishing industry, and everybody wanted to have a 1.5 square bill crankbait. But I think that 6 cents, something happened and they just weren't able to, the owner was not able to come up with a mold, something like that. I don't really know the whole story, just from research that I've done. But eventually they came out with this one right here. Let me pull it out, I've got a couple of them. All right, so this right here, you see this, guys? This is their Crush 50X square bill crankbait. It's just about the exact same size, if not the exact same size, as a Strike King 1.5, which is what I would just compare all square bills to, or like a Lucky Craft 1.5, or whatever they are, RTO 1s or 2s. But anyways, this is like your 1.5 standard square bill crankbait. And this is a newer color. This is, I believe this one is Ozark Craw. It's a really nice crawfish imitation. I like it for throwing around rocks, or anytime I'm in some sort of like river or creek system where the fish are feeding heavily on crawfish. This is an awesome bait, awesome profile. And there's tons and tons and tons of colors in each line of hard bait, which is something else that I really, really enjoy. So here's a couple more 50Xs. I'm gonna pull them out. They're all tangled up in this box, I'm sorry about that. But here's a couple more colors right here. This is just a I think it's chartreuse spank, something like that. It's just a chartreuse with a blue top on it. It's really, really nice. And this is just your, just like a Spanish pearl colored crankbait. And good, this one's good for dirty water. And this one's good for just like imitating bait fish. This one's also pretty good in dirty water too, because it's kind of just an opaque color. But yeah, there's several different colors. This is 50X. And then expanding on the 50X, they have this other crankbait that I like, and it is a 100X. So it's just double the size, kind of like that 2.5 size bait. And here's a couple of those right here. As you can see, they're slightly larger than the 50X I just showed you guys. This one here is an awesome color. The color is called Black Magic, and this is a killer in dirty water. I am not even kidding you guys. This bait is fantastic. Love that color. You see the 50X in my right hand right here versus the left hand here. It's just a smaller profile bait. This one here doesn't have like as aggressive as a rattle in it. This is kind of like a toned down rattle, which I also like. Something else I'm going to point out on these square bills real quick before I move on to something else, and this goes for all of the baits. they have this premium paint to start off with, which is awesome, okay? And then secondly, they have premium hardware on there. So you're not gonna have to change out your stock hooks whenever you purchase a crankbait. That short shank triple grip hook on there, let me hold this up here so you can kind of see it, is awesome. Like, you hook up and land more fish with that short shank triple grip hook. I mean, it's incredible the difference you get. And every hard bait that you're gonna purchase from 6th Sense is gonna have that short shank triple grip hook, which is great. Fantastic. So that's that bait. I'm gonna talk about another shallow hard bait. This is actually my favorite shallow crankbait to throw, like, anytime, anywhere. And these are just too cool and too awesome. This is my favorite 6th Sense bait. These are the Movement ADX shallow diving crankbaits. There's also a wake bait that looks a lot like this, and there's also a square bill that dives down a little bit deeper. But these are the ones that dive down that 1 to 3 foot range, depending on how heavy your line is, or like just whatever angle you're holding your rod tip up. And the lake that I live on, it's pretty much a shallow lake, and I've always thrown a shallow crankbait out here. And it's been one of the best things to throw. And as soon as these baits came out, I was just so thrilled to have this really shallow running crankbait that was, you know, a premium paint scheme, got awesome hooks on it, and it has an incredible action. They don't call this bait the Movement for anything. This bait literally is just doing this motion in the water the whole time. Like, nothing harder than a giant, like, nighttime spinnerbait Colorado blade. And that's awesome. Like, you have so much, it's so aggressive, and these baits really do catch and target bigger fish. Like, I catch a lot of good sized fish on this bait. And some of my bigger fish that I've caught recently have come on this bait out here. So I really love these baits. These are some bluegill patterns. Super awesome throwing in the springtime or summertime when fish, these bass are keying in on bluegill. Here's another one. I have 3 different bluegill patterns, and I mean, just look at them, guys. I'm just gonna say, just look at them. I can't say enough about them. This one's called backwater bluegill. I think this is called like neon or bluegill spawn, and this is like baby bluegill. So I have those bluegill patterns, and then I also have a ton of shad patterns also. So this bait here is actually the first one that I ever purchased and owned. I mean, I've had this bait for probably 4 years now, maybe 4 years. And these baits originally didn't come with those stock triple grip short shank hooks. These hooks I never took off. They came with just these regular hooks, and they kind of bent out. And I think that's why they decided to upgrade to those hooks to make the bait just a overall just premium package. So this is that just a bone colored Movement ADX, and it has so many teeth marks in this thing. I'm not sure if this camera's gonna pick it up or not, but you can kind of see it's got all sorts of teeth marks. I've caught some really big fish on this, and I mean, the paint really isn't even coming off. I mean, I've probably caught over 100 or even 200 fish on this bait, or even more. I don't even know. I could have maybe caught 300 fish on this bait. I use this bait a lot in the fall time. These bass are running bait out here in these shallow coves. It's a beast, and it's awesome. There's that one. And then this is probably the coolest color that they own. It's in a shad pattern. This is called shad scales. And you see those little scales on there? Dude, when those things hit the light, they just shine on the water. It looks like exactly like a shad. It's so cool. I really, really like this one. So I've just got a bunch of those. I literally have maybe 10 movements, and I've just got all sorts of colors, golds, and this is that square bill I was telling you about, actually. This is that one that dives down a little bit deeper. See how it's got a square bill on it? Instead of that round bill. Let me compare those two. See, it has a round bill. That's that one that dives down 1 to 3 feet. This is that one that goes down to 7 feet. I think it goes down 6 or 7. And this one's good for bouncing off the cover. But they both come through cover awesome. They deflect very, very well just because of the shape of the bait. And they catch big ones. So that's really, really important. One more color I'll talk about in that I have. It's really good this time of year. We're getting really close to like that really good pre-spawn bass bite where you can kind of get those sunny days in February where the bass start just kind of cruising around the shallows trying to figure out what they're going to be doing, where they're going to start thinking about spawning the next month. And you know, in the wintertime, throwing red is an awesome color to throw. Like throwing red lipless crankbaits, you know, medium diving crankbaits. But these shallow running orange and red crankbaits make great craw imitators. The crawfish turn red this time of year. They're pretty much red year round, actually. Most of the time they have red on them, but they really get fired from red when the crawfish start breeding. So this imitates those red crawfish. And red in general is just the target color that bass, they see it really good and they can just pick it up and they'll just destroy it. Okay, so that's like basically the gist of my shallow diving crankbaits. I have some more stashed up in a couple other boxes, but I just have this one box. It basically only has 6 cents baits in it, so I figured this would be the best one to get out. While we're talking about orange and red baits and it being wintertime, let's go ahead and talk about some lipless crankbait designs or colors that they have that are good. They have a couple of different lipless models. They have the Quake, and they have the Snatch. I'm more into the Quake. There is a 70 size and there is an 80 size. So most of the time I'm throwing the 70 size, and most of the time I'm throwing the regular Quake with a lot of BBs in it. So this one right here, see how it's got a pretty loud, high-pitched rattle? And then they have a thud, which is a one knocker. So do you hear it's just got one knocker in it. Both are good. Most people throw a one knocker, so I try to be different and just use the high-pitched rattling BBs and a lipless crankbait just to make it stand out. It kind of like flipped roles. Like at first when the one knockers came out, that was the one you need to be throwing, but now I feel like you need to be throwing the one that has a high-pitched BB sound. Let's show you a couple colors real quick. These are a couple of my favorites. This is just a straight up red. This is called Rainbow Red. It's really good. Just a red bait's good. Like I said, red is a target color for bass. They see it really good and they smash it this time of year, you know, January up until March and maybe even into April a little bit. Red is a go-to to me. This color is also a go-to to me. This has got that orange in it. This is called Tiger True. It's got a chartreuse belly. This bait is a killer. I mean, a killer in muddy water. I mean, if you have some water and it's kind of muddy and you want to throw something that's other than red just to kind of stand out, this bait gets the job done. You can throw it all year long, really. This Tiger Truce color, it has been a killer. This is a brand new fresh one. I actually lost the only one that I had, I mean, I think at the beginning of last year, and then they were sold out of this color. I'm not sure if just everybody knows the secret or if they just didn't have a whole lot in stock at the moment, but they were sold out like pretty much the whole year. So either somebody's buying them all or they're just not making a bunch of them, but they are in stock now, I believe. So if you don't have this color and you're looking to get into like a new lipless crankbait color, or you just want something that's really good and you just don't know what to get, dude's a killer in some dirty water, slightly stained water, all times of the year. Tiger Truce. So if it was a toss-up between my favorite 6 cents hard bait, it'd be between, you know, this Movement 80X and it'd be versus this bait right here. It's a toss-up between these two because these are like the baits that made this company famous. This is the Cloud9 deep diving crankbait. It's a really, really awesome design. They have several different ones that dive down from anywhere. They have like a C6, a C10, C15, C20, and C25 model. All diving down to that respective depth that they have on the label, plus maybe, you know, a foot or two. Anyways, this is a really, really awesome deep diving bait. I've got several of them. And the only reason I probably picked the 80X over the deep divers is just because I don't ever lose the 80Xs, but you know, when you're throwing these things down into a big brush pile, you know, 15, 20 feet deep, you're gonna probably get hung up and lose a couple of them, which makes me sad. But that's all right, because they're awesome. They catch tons and tons of fish. These are just a couple of colors I like. This is just a citrus shad, and then this is a threadfin shad, but let me show you my favorite color that I've got right here. It's just a staple. It's been around for a while, but it's just a straight up gizzard shad, and this is the C25. And here's another one here. I like this one too for dirtier water. This is a chartreuse sexified shad versus like the gizzard shad. These are killers. It's basically just the chartreuse model of it. And I can't really say enough good things about these baits. They catch big fish. They dive down. Most of the time you get them straight out of the package, they hunt true. They have these big, beefy, you know, short shank EWG hooks on them. Great paint. I love them. So those are those deep diving crankbaits. They get a lot of work throughout the year, all throughout winter and spring and summer and fall. So whenever I'm on a deep cranking bite, this is the crankbait that I'm throwing like 99% of the time. Maybe even 100% of the time. I'm throwing one of these crankbaits. Let's see, I got another cool bait I'm gonna show you the guy. This is just a little medium diving crankbait. This is another one that's made the company pretty famous recently. It's a good bait to be throwing right now. This is the Curve. This is a Curve 55. And it's basically just like your medium diving. I'm gonna compare this into like your wiggle wart rock crawler style crankbait. This fits in that same category. So let me show you what the bill looks like on this bait, why it gets called the Curve. So it's got this really thin bill action. It's kind of got this little segment, this little divot right here between the bill and the bait, but it's skinnier than the actual bait is. So that makes this bait hunt kind of in an S shape curve motion, just like this in the water. So along with the crankbaits, they also have jerk baits, they have topwater baits, and they have glide baits. I don't know if I'm missing on anything. I think that's it. And this is a bait that I'm super pumped about, super excited about. This is actually the brand new redesigned model of the Provoke 106X style jerkbait. I think it's 106. That's how many millimeters long this bait is. But you can see it's custom with a short shank, mustad, or whatever brand, triple grip hooks in there. And previously, before they came out with this new design, the jerkbait that they had would not cast very, very well. It didn't have a weight transfer system in it. So it was tough to cast. So if I'm throwing a jerkbait and I can't cast it, I have to put it down. I just can't throw it. It doesn't matter how good it looks, you know, or who says it's great, who says this jerkbait's the best. If I can't cast that jerkbait out really far, I'm not gonna use it. So I was sad because I like the paint on it. I like to support a company that I like, but I was unable to do that in the jerkbaits, and I had to throw other jerkbaits. But this jerkbait here is great. It's fantastic. And it's a lot cheaper than a Vision 110. And you can cast it like a bullet. And it's got a bunch of different good paint schemes. I think I have some in this little box. I actually have a little box of them here. Yeah, a bunch of different colors. So here's the box. Here's in the box right here, see? Provoke, this is another good color. It's called Shadburst. It's a newer color. You see that little holographic layer right there on there, whatever you call that. It's awesome. I like that a lot. Anyway, these jerkbaits are the deal. Okay, I haven't used them a whole lot because they just come out and they just got the brand new ones up. But I have caught a couple fish with this one. It's just a ghost shad color. I'm not sure exactly what the color is, but they're awesome. In the water, they look great. Fantastic. I'm really pumped about it. I'm gonna leave a link to the website in the description. You know, to 6thSenseLures.com, so you can check that out for yourself. And I just want everybody to know that I am in no way affiliated with this company. I don't know any of them personally. I'm just a big fan. And I feel like, you know, people need to get praise where it's deserved. So that's just what I'm doing today. I'm just giving this company a lot of props because I feel like if I was ever to run a company, and as a kid, I wanted to have my own company and design my own lures and crankbaits and paint colors. And this is exactly the way that I would do it. And they did it from the ground up and have made themselves into a really, really awesome company. So thank you guys so much for watching this episode today. I'm sorry if you guys didn't enjoy listening to me ramble about crankbaits all day and you would have rather watched me go out and fish with them. But stay tuned, the weather's gonna be getting better anytime now, and we will be out on the lake slaying some largemouth for you guys and, you know, giving you some more tackle tips and reviews along the way. So if you enjoyed today's video, hit the like button for me. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe to our channel to keep up with all of our future adventures. And if you want to, hit the notification bell so you'll know every time that we post. I'm Cole Harkin, and I will see you next time on another episode. Peace.